Good afternoon, everybody. I promised you a live video on YouTube this weekend. It's the 26th of February 2022. I want to answer in general, as I wanted to give spiritual answers or spiritual clarity to certain questions that were asked on Facebook. I would like to first answer questions to people like Iris Erasmus, Maxine Swart, and these are people who ask about self-confidence. And then there were people asking how to actually be positive and lift your frequency to a higher frequency. First of all, what is very important is that we actually organize and plan our day. Also that we really take care. One of the main important things at the moment is that we realize that we have to start on a new slate. We're coming to the end of the pandemic, and with such, it's very important that we reconnect to community, to our families, to our groups of people that we are linked to our families, kids, grandkids, and everybody involved, as the pandemic is in the past and we cannot live in fear in the future. So to also lift our self-worth and our frequency, we need to have the faith that when we reconnect, we're in a better space. And how we can do that is, number one, with very good sleep, that we actually also declutter our homes, get back to normal, know that this was all for a purpose and a divine plan, and that we are the lucky ones still alive today and hopefully tomorrow and into the future. If you have lost your self-worth or even your self-image due to setbacks, which we all had during the last 2-3 years, then you need to start with yourself physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually and psychologically. So if you really find that you have a very mental blockage and that you're fearful, recognize that you're fearful. Recognize maybe that you're tired. Recognize that you need extra supplements or that you need extra help for your mental health. And start exercising. Also look at what you've been used to eating. Have you gained weight? Can you lose that weight again? Can you really go to the gym, which we can again, doing exercises, getting into fresh air, having sunlight again for vitamin D, and really getting our lives back to what we so-called normal. When we know that every life and every day is a miracle, we will address it like that. And that when we can look at every day as a miracle, we can take steps, which I say are certain routines and disciplines, which I call blissciplines, to put into place to actually wake up, get up, and really dress up again. That we make an attempt to really look nice, to feel nice, not for anybody else, but ourselves. To take care of our makeup, to take care of our dress, to really see to it that we're fresh, that we feel fresh, that we take a shower in the evenings, to stay clear of negative energies. We need to start also with ourselves and bath in Epsom salts regularly, think positive thoughts, pray regularly, and make time for some quiet time. Sometimes a meditation can be as easy as sitting in the garden, listening to all the sounds that you can hear and just breathing. Other times you can go for a walk and just look at everything with new eyes. In other words, I can see this card differently to what I used to look at it. So you don't give it just a name and you get lost in your thoughts, but you really look at everything with new eyes. Plus, you can have a meditation by going on a walk and just feeling your body, how you go for a walk, how the muscles work, how your breathing works, how you take steps when you go a bit into a run or you go slower, that you feel where's the pain, where do you need more flexibility, when are you out of breath, do you need to take care and maybe stop smoking, or have you started drinking too much, or you're even drugging. Forbid that. But if you're smoking and you're not drinking enough water and you're not really getting sunlight or fresh air, your health cannot be maximum. Your self-worth can only be better when you also check on your thoughts, what you're thinking during the day, and you take every day just one step forward. In other words, every day you try something new, or you drive a different way to your workplace, or you go for a different walk, maybe at the beach or around another neighborhood, and not around maybe the same old neighborhood, the same old route. And it's also that self-worth means self-nurturing. When you are able to nurture yourself and you know when you're tired that you need to take some time out, that you actually re-energize yourself by sitting a bit, talking a bit, just sitting in the garden, relaxing, doing some gardening, having a hobby, really switching off from work. Don't overdo anything. I guess that balance is the key to everything when it comes to self-worth, to self-nurturing, to your health, to even a balance between work, family, and home is very important. Take care of your hair, take care of your nails, take care of your skin, and also see to it that your children learn to brush their teeth, to have routines in place that are for better living, for better health, for better well-being, that one doesn't look too much TV, you're not too much on electronics or FaceTime or social media, but that you actually interact with people, because it's well researched that the connection and communication with people lifts your self-worth, lifts your positivity, which is not being done when we are on social media, because social media is actually not proper communication. Plus, it's very much without face expression. It does not enhance our need for communication and connection and loving interaction. So see to it that you really look after yourself in all respects. Mentally, read some good books, self-help books, but also non-fiction and fiction, so that you have a balance in what you do. If you're not a reader, then maybe you are knitting, or you're doing some needlework, or you have another hobby, but that you really go into your hobbies when you're not working, and that you trust that when you've worked 8 hours per day, that you've actually done good enough. I also want to say, people who say, what about my health? That it takes time to become healthy again. Those people who have suffered from COVID, or even just from flu, or other ailments like suddenly arthritis or osteoporosis, or just really mental health issues as well, depression, because everything was so traumatizing in the last three years, that we need to look at that and say we need to clear our mind with more variety, with really being aware what we're talking about, and that we are aware that we don't dump our negativity on other people's footsteps and on other people's doorsteps and in other people's homes. So also when you're really lonely, connect with a loved one via telephone, via cell phone, and make it a real talk, make it a real call, not just on WhatsApp, because people are jumping between things, and know that you can only focus on one thing at a time, not on more. Schedule things that are just for you, like a massage or a spa, or a walk for yourself and a friend, or a cup of coffee with a friend, or that you read your book in the garden, or you schedule a day just for gardening, or just for your knitting, or that you go to a painting class, that you start also something new to invigorate your mental capacity, which is, by the way, very, very good to prevent dementia. So when I look at health and self-worth, and I talk to people like Iris, Erasmus, and Maxine Swart, I also want to say here, Iris, that it's very difficult for you this year to become very clear. So it's important that you maybe, where people ask, how do you meditate, that you really make connection with the higher self and also your God, the universe, or you talk to nature and you really ask for signs. Because the more we practice something, the better we get at this. Self-worth or health or self-image or more positive frequencies is not going to be fixed within a day. It takes sometimes for me to actually get back to a clean bill of health, took me a year and a half. So, and it was constant, every day, getting up and practicing what was important for me, like prayer, quiet time, exercise, keeping my house clean, staying on top of things, doing the texts when they need to be done, praying before I work, praying for my family and myself, and really staying positive. And when you find something bitter or negative within yourself, that you work on yourself for forgiveness, because nobody's perfect and we are not perfect. We are growing till the day that we die. To speak also of, I have spoken to so many people who have actually lost husbands and partners to COVID. It is very difficult to start a new life after you've been together with somebody 17 or 27 or 37 years. So there will be a vacuum, and grieving is a process. But every day make some time, a special time, which you call your grieving time or your worry time, where you sit and you even ask your family, if you have kids that are too small, that you say to them, that is your time where you can cry, where you can worry, where you can think about the concerns that you have financially, finishing the estate or starting a new life, and how will you do it, or what kinds of cars do you need to sell, how do you finish off and clear out with what your husband or your partner's belongings is all about. And know that you can always connect to your loved ones when they're gone, because they do come through with signs and messages, even in dreams, if not in your home or in your real life. But you need to know that you're alive for a reason, and you need to take every step forward each and every day. You need to try and do something different and stay on top of it, because we are not meant to see ourselves as victims, but as creating our own life together with the higher force, and that we have never gotten anything more to carry than what we can carry. And that's even what the Bible states to us, that we get exactly what we need, not necessarily what we want. And believe in a higher force, that you are capable of looking after yourself, that you're capable to take responsibility for yourself and your children, and that all you need is use your talents, use your opportunities, find opportunities, get into action, keep a balance between action and non-action, so that you can actually see a difference and do not repeat old patterns, because old behavior patterns will only bring you what you had before. So really look at it and be very aware that you want to change your life going forward, because 2022 is one of those years where a lot of people step onto a new platform with new positivity, with new jobs, and it is always possible. Wherever you are, you need to be. So it's no good if you try and run away to have security or stability somewhere else, because stability, security, and the sense of belonging is something that comes from within. Rita, I hope that I gave you a bit about the afterlife. The people that we lose are very much in another realm. And there are many more levels, which I describe in my book. And if you want to download my book, you can go to www.mariettatiernissen.com, also for my readings and everything, and costs. And Ricky van Locherenberg, you also ask about self-healing. This year, Ricky, is a very important year for you to also look at your health of your teeth, your bones, that you have enough collagen, that you have exercises, that you're flexible enough, that you look at it, maybe that you look at it, that you have enough, that the hormonal, the endocrine system is good enough, that you actually maybe take extra hormones, or that you have your hormones tested in the blood to see whether you don't need something extra, because when estrogen gets too low, we often start with osteoporosis, especially if it's in the family, and maybe take good oils like a tablespoonful of pure olive oil per day, or even pine nut oil that you use in salads, but try and get as good as possible, as healthy as possible, foods that are raw, also salads and good vegetables, more green than red or yellow, or like potatoes and sweet potatoes, because those are really starches. Nadine, you also asked me about your health, where I want to say your way of thinking needs to change major, because my feeling is you stay stuck in thinking that you're not capable of being better. And my feeling is, especially, get out into the garden, get out into the fresh air, go for walks, start something else, or join a gym and start swimming, because that's a very healthy way of getting your health onto better track, that you actually get the heart rate up at least 2 to 3 times per week. Magda Barnard, you also asked me about your health, where you're also in a new cycle this year to really have a good look and to stop worrying about security and stability, because in the end, life is not predictable, because we have no idea when suddenly something can fall into place for us. But when we really are positive and we have hope and we put our actions into place, we don't make excuses for doing nothing, we will always move forward, feel better, be more positive. And if it's really necessary and 5-HTP is not helping for you, then it's really important that you go and see a doctor and lift your serotonin with an antidepressant, or a light antidepressant, or a tranquilizer, because a lot of people have been traumatized and been very confused through lockdown 2020, 2021, and coming into this year. So really take care of yourself, because it's your responsibility. Also, Melanie van der Merwe, in a new cycle completely. When you believe that you are protected, you are protected. Nobody can do anything to you unless you allow it. So also see other people as people that are messengers that teach you something. Because if one can look at that, then we know that we need to learn through other people, because relationships are life and life are relationships. I hope that I've answered a few of your questions with this, and keep your promises like I have done today, because that lifts one's self-image as well. Test yourself. There is no shame in asking for help. There's no shame in trying something and initially maybe not reaching the pinnacle or the success that you're looking for. There's no shame in studying extra, even at the age of 60 or 65 or even 55, because nowhere are we too old to learn anything new ever. So with this, I will leave you today. And if you want to get hold of me, please go to my website, mariettatiernissen.com, for costs, info, products, workshops, and duration of readings. Namaste.